Blog Talk Radio.
Welcome to the Power Your Life radio show with host and success doc, Joanne White. Author, speaker, and certified coach, Doc White gets to the heart of what matters most. She features guests and experts to help you consciously create more success, health, and well-being in every area of your life, work, and relationships. They'll share their success stories, wisdom, and know-how to shine more light onto your day and into your life. Power your life right now. Here's Joanne White.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Power Your Life radio show, and I'm Dr. Joanne White, and it's really a pleasure to be here today. And we're going to shift gears a little bit from our last show, and we're going to move right into fashion and business and talk about how you can move forward in your business with some incredible tips from some experts in the field. And I have one here right now who actually has done some incredible work in the field of fashion. And Jerry Chazen is known as an innovator and even a revolutionary, and his ideas changed the face of the apparel industry and retailing forever. He's a founder and a former chairman of Liz Claiborne Incorporated, and he authored this book that I have in front of me, and I love it, My Life at Liz Claiborne, How We Broke the Rules and Built the Largest Fashion Company in the World. And this book is really gives you a lot of information, not just about Liz Claiborne, but really how you can utilize some of the techniques that Jerry and his team use to really create this industry. Liz Claiborne, now known as Fifth and Pacific Companies, grew from revenues of $7 million in 1977 to more than $2 billion during his tenure. And this book is a business memoir with an extraordinary success story, and he tells how with designer Liz Claiborne, he took a small startup business and grew it into the largest apparel company in the world. The book also gives us lessons for everyone in business, and it demonstrates how Jerry and his executives at Liz broke the rules time after time in their pursuit of success. Mr. Chazen shows readers how design and creativity is never enough to ensure success, and fashion is the most competitive industry in the world. So I think it's really incredible that Jerry's here to share with us some tips that you can use in your own business and to look more closely at what he and the Liz Claiborne team, executive team, did to really make it the industry it is today, the business it is today. Jerry, are you there?
I'm here.
Great. So let's just really dive into this, and especially in some of the tips that are in your book, because I think it's a great book and I think so many people can benefit from it. You started at Liz. Well, you didn't start at Liz, but how did you get involved with Liz Claiborne initially?
Well, there's a Liz Claiborne company and a Liz Claiborne person. And the Liz Claiborne person involvement goes back all the way, I guess it stems from all the way back in my college days when my roommate at the University of Wisconsin eventually, after another marriage, met this lady, Liz Claiborne, who was a designer in New York, and they fell in love, and he was married, she was married. They both divorced and then married one another and remained married for many, many years. And we became, in a sense, best friends. My roommate and I had never lost touch, and we stayed very close. And so we were best friends to begin with. And as I described in the book, and I don't want to take too much time on that, but they came to a crossing in their lives where the income of both of them was kind of taken away very suddenly, and we sat down and had a discussion about, well, what could they do next? And I had been in the field of fashion virtually my entire career and saw an opportunity that I felt was perfect for someone as talented as Liz Claiborne to help put together. And it had to do with a new American consumer and a woman who was busy and who at that time really, if she wanted a dress for any activity, she pretty much had to buy a dress. That's what the world was like back then. And we came up with this concept of, well, dresses aren't everything, and coordinated separates might be another way in which women could dress themselves. And to make a long story short, it worked. And women loved the idea of doing that, and we were there to supply them. And then, fortunately for the company and for the growth of the company, several different things, several of the planets were in the right place for us. One, probably most important, was the fact that we were there just at the cusp of when women in the workforce were coming to the fore. And all these thousands, virtually millions of women who were going back to work sometime after World War II, and we're now talking about the late 1970s and very early 1980s. And we were there they had no clothes to wear to go to work. And Liz Claiborne became the outfit of choice for women in the workplace. So that was a tremendous help to us, and they loved the clothes, and we loved the opportunity of putting the clothes on their backs. The second, and probably, I don't know if it was the most important thing, but certainly very important in terms of the growth of the company, was our recognition that in order to supply people properly with the way things were in our country, we had to move overseas to get additional production. We just couldn't find enough places to produce the goods that we needed to supply the demand. And we originally went overseas simply to get more production. Well, of course, not only did we get more production, but we were able to get production at very high quality and at much lower prices than it was available here in this country, primarily due to the fact that the workers overseas made a lot less money. But on top of that, there weren't too many people. There weren't enough people in the United States that wanted to sit down behind a sewing machine and manufacture garments. So those two elements together, I think, were the major reasons for the success of the company and our ability to grow to these tremendous levels very, very quickly.
Now, you also talk about the fact that design is not necessarily the key to success, and that there's more to success than that. So what else is important for people to learn? I know that you have lessons in the book. What else for business people that are starting out?
I think there are a couple of tips that I give people who are starting in business, and some of them seem very elementary. But I would say, before we go into specific things, people, especially anybody out there who's interested or who has children or relatives or people that want to get into the fashion business, should understand that it is a business. It is not just, well, we'll design something pretty and all of a sudden everybody becomes rich. It just doesn't work that way. It's a very difficult business with more than a 90% failure rate. Over 90% of all the people that open up fashion companies fail.
Wow.
And they fail for a number of reasons. Sometimes they don't have enough money to start with, but sometimes they really don't understand the business decisions that have to be made in making sure that they remain profitable. So one of the things that I try to point out in the book is that if people want to be in this industry, and I think it holds true for almost any industry, they should have a grounding in it. They should understand the ins and the outs and the ups and the downs and what makes it happen and why things take place in a certain way, and so on and so forth, so that when they run up against these same situations in their own business, it's something that they've dealt with before and they're not surprised.
So you're talking really about people knowing, not just wanting to do something, but really learning and knowing their industry as it's changing, because most industries are competitive and evolving all the time.
Absolutely. And I think one of the things in fashion in particular, because of, I think, a lot of misinformation that comes through the media, young kids in school don't really get this kind of an education. They think, well, we'll go out and, we'll design something and someone will come along and we'll make it and everyone will love it and all the consumers will love it. It's almost as if they think they're buying a lottery ticket. And it just doesn't happen that way. And I would caution people to really get a grounding in the industry. You don't know a lot, and I talk to a lot of kids. I was on the board for many years. I was a trustee at the Fashion Institute of Technology in New York, which is a premier institution for teaching people who want to be in the world of fashion all about fashion. And as much as the school teaches, and they do a terrific job, when these kids get out, they really know very little. They really haven't experienced the tough parts of the business, which you only get once you're in it. The rejection that takes place sometimes, and the things that have to be done, and the mistakes that you can make, etc. So I used to tell these young people, make sure you get a job in a company where you're going to be able to experience all of these things and learn from your experience. And at some point, perhaps, you'll be ready to do things on your own, if in fact that's what you want to do. Not everybody is an entrepreneur.
You had to make a lot of decisions as an entrepreneur, as running Liz Claiborne with other executives. What were some of the really important business growth decisions that you made that really catapulted